Hello, Burn Bright friends. So glad you're here, and greetings once again from the Burn Bright bunker, and welcome to this podcast and video on life after COVID-19, how to get your life back. So if you're like most of us going around and COVID-19 has left you feeling like a hot mess, you're not alone. So let's talk a little bit about how COVID-19 has left all of us in a hot mess in one way or another, because maybe you've actually had an illness or some type of an illness related to COVID-19 or not. But this pandemic has had a far-reaching effect and will continue to have a far-reaching effect on everyone on the planet in many, many ways. So perhaps you yourself have been ill, or perhaps someone you love has been ill, or you may have even had somebody pass away or translate during this time as well. So maybe you've lost your job or your home, or you've suffered other kind of significant losses, greatly reduced 401k or your retirement accounts. Perhaps you're experiencing a complete and total career change. Some of us lost our jobs. Some of us are changing careers entirely. Our jobs have changed so drastically that we're having to use our divine creativity to look for something totally new and different. Or maybe it's just time that we moved on, made that job change that we knew we had to make and just wouldn't make it. Or perhaps you're younger, and perhaps you've missed graduation or prom, or your dream vacation got thwarted, or maybe you've lost an entire semester at school. Or, perhaps you've got bad mom syndrome, right? You're at home, all the kids are home all of a sudden, and you're looking around going, oh my God, my kids have serious issues. I'm a horrible mom. Well, you're not, okay? But I'm feeling you if you feel like you are. Or perhaps you feel like Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt and Mr. and Mrs. Smith. You're looking at each other and you're saying, wow, you're a mess and I'm a disaster. And we really seriously need to get some relationship help. It could be. Or, perhaps one of the things I'm seeing in my practice, and I have been for months now, actually even in the last year, is that once people are in isolation and we're all home and we're not out with our distractions of work or play or any type of distraction, good or bad, one of the things that happens when we're home alone is our traumas come up to the surface. We've had past traumas from this life or previous lives that are impacting us, our health and well-being today as we know it. And these can come out as physical illnesses, signs or symptoms, or it can come out as an illness or an injury or a life issue. So a lot of traumas are coming up and people needing help with that. But I would say, I think it's fair to say that with any crisis of any type, whether it's a global pandemic or a life crisis that we have or going through, one thing is for sure is that life as we know it has changed forever. And I know there's a lot of folks out there saying, man, I can't wait for this shelter in place to be lifted so we can just get back to normal. I want life to get back to normal. Well, as a clinician, as a professional, and as a person, I'm kind of here to just kind of help you understand that life isn't going back to normal, okay? After anyone, as a person or a professional who's had a life crisis of any type, the crisis is designed to make us move forward into a new normal. So there really is no such thing as getting your life back, but what we will be doing is going to a new normal and actually going to a higher and better place once we get on the other side of that. So you're probably wondering, okay, what the bleep is going on. The world is falling apart. And in a way it is, because things are being built anew. And I have personally been through a spiritual awakening, actually more than one. And one thing I can tell you, and that many other professionals are out trying to help explain and help people get through this right now, is you've probably heard about this. There's a lot of talk and a lot of explanation and a lot of assistance going on in the background, but welcome to the great spiritual awakening. It's here. And we've known about this was coming for a long time. We've known that we're at the end of the Piscean age. We'll talk a little bit about that later. And we're entering into the age of Aquarius. And actually, believe it or not, this is a really good thing once we get on the other side of it. But again, welcome to the great spiritual awakening. And we're all in this together, and we're all going to help each other get through it and come out on the other side. So I'm so glad you're here today for this conversation. So I'm Jennifer Marcinelli, and what I do is I help people get their life back by healing their thoughts, memories, and emotions. And if you may or may not know, I am a board certified holistic registered nurse, and I hold various advanced certifications, some of which are I am a certified Reiki practitioner, a certified NLP or neuro-linguistics programming practitioner, and I'm also certified in diamond and gemstone therapy. So I am an author. I'm author of the book From Burning Out to Burning Bright: How to Get Your Life Back by Healing Your Thoughts, Memories, and Emotions. And I'm also the founder and CEO of the franchise Burn Bright Today. I have a large energy medicine practice where I serve local, national, international, and corporate clientele. So it's a little bit about me. So let's get back to what the bleep is going on. And one of the things I kind of want to talk about today and share with you is to shed a little bit of light on the bigger picture, if you will. And just a little bit of a caveat, if you're new to me and to my radio show or my podcasting, or if you're new as a client, part of being a board certified holistic nurse means that I have an ethical duty to provide spiritual care to those who wish to have it. So this is something near and dear to my heart anyhow, and I'm completely transparent about this in my book. I believe in complete transparency. So throughout all of our podcast or video sessions, I'll be combining spirituality with science, because this is the Aquarian age coming up, and this is the time now that science and spirituality are coming together. So that's what you can expect from me, and I will always try to provide for you. So let's talk a little bit about the bigger picture of what's going on, and this might help you get a little bit of understanding and hopefully some peace and calm, because understanding can go a long way, especially when we're in a crisis and facing something as new and different as this global pandemic. So let's talk about what's going on. All right. So you're probably already aware that there's a major awakening, a spiritual awakening, a major rise in consciousness taking place on the planet Earth, and all of us living on planet Earth at this time. You've heard me talking about this the last 15 months. You've heard me talking about the grand stellium that took place back on January 12th, that big event in the heavens that aligns heaven energies to help us move forward. And here we are, we're now, end of Q1, if you will, Q1 of the grand stellium and the great spiritual awakening. So that's a lot of what's happening. So this is an unprecedented time in Earth's history, or of all history, that an entire planet has raised in consciousness, or risen in consciousness, with everyone on it. So before you go wondering, what the heck, let's just take a little bit of responsibility here, and let's just remember that we are divine spiritual beings. We are soul. We are a spark of God. We exist because God loves us, and we have incarnated at this time in a physical human body, here to have to have a life of experiences to learn and spiritually unfold and return to God in our own way, on our own path, in our own time. But we agreed to be here at this time. And you've heard me talk about this for the last 15 months. This is an unprecedented time in human history. And to be here at this time is a tremendous honor and a privilege. We all agreed to it, and we're all here to do our part. We'll talk more about that in a future podcast. So back to a little bit about the bigger picture of what's going on. So Earth, as you know, is a living, breathing, sentient organism. Earth is alive. Earth has consciousness. Earth lives. And Earth has, amongst other things, a chakra system just like we do. We have a chakra system. And what's been taking place over the last quite some time now, last several months, getting bigger up to what's taking place and still moving forward, is that Earth herself is receiving a big series of energetic repairs and upgrades, including energetic repair and upgrades to her chakra system. And as she is receiving these repair and upgrades to her chakra system, so are we. Every human being on the planet is getting this. So in the last couple of months, the heart chakra, or some of my clients, I was seeing this in my practice even 2 years ago. Some of my clients who are very spiritually advanced, if you will, were getting the diamonds and gems. Were providing chakra upgrades to the chakra, the heart chakra itself, and to the physical organ, the heart itself, energetically, to provide additional boundaries and protections. And again, we needed upgrades, right? So all of us are getting that. So in the last couple of months, if you felt pressure on your chest or anxiety, or really kind of feeling it more on your chest, or a tightness or a squeezing, that is a classic sign that your heart chakra is being upgraded, and it most likely needs repair and upgrade right now. It's just kind of what's going on. And then now, if what we're seeing and what I'm seeing in my practice is that the solar plexus chakra is being upgraded. So many of my clients are experiencing this, as I've experienced this as well, almost like stomach pain or nausea or digestive issues. And this is a hallmark sign that the solar plexus or the stomach chakra is getting an upgrade. Again, we all need repairs and upgrades as we go through life and as we spiritually unfold. And as our vibratory rate increases and our vibratory rate rises, our energetic anatomy needs repair and upgrades. So again, solar plexus is also tied to self-leadership, independence, moving forward in life in a new way, with much more confidence. We'll get into this in much more detail in a separate podcast, but I wanted you to have that today so that you have some background. Now, what to expect. So maybe this is your first rodeo. Okay. So I have personally experienced a spiritual awakening, a major one when I was 44, and another major spiritual awakening in 2019, last year. And if you ask anyone who's ever been through a spiritual awakening, here are some of the things that you can expect. All right. First of all, it's always for the greater good of ourselves, and it's always for the greater good of all concerned. This is a spiritual thing from heaven, from God. It's meant to move us forward. So it looks like in your life, some major crisis or significant upheaval is going to take place in your life, usually on many, many levels. And it's designed to make us move out of a place that no longer fits into, like, say, a room that we've outgrown into a larger room, because the way that we were operating before, we've outgrown it, and it's time to move forward. And to do this, our life often gets turned upside down. And when I was 44 and I was going through my burnout, my health crisis and near suicide with burnout that led me on my path of unbelievable healing to doing what I do today, my mentor at the time said, you know, it's like when eagles are in a nest. And when it's time for those baby eagles to fly, what does the mommy eagle do? The mama eagle makes that nest really uncomfortable. And if the baby eagle doesn't fly out on her own, mama will give it some help. So that's a part of what's going on here. And honestly, the more that we resist the discomfort of the nest, the more uncomfortable it's going to get. It's kind of up to us to step forward and to fly at this point. So you're going to have a major upheaval. You're going to have to make changes. And the biggest thing that's going to happen is your stuff is going to come up. And your stuff is coming up because it needs to be cleared. We need to understand it. We need to heal it. And we need to move forward and go on in our lives from a much higher place. And once you get on the other side of this, life is actually so much better. It's lighter, it's freer, it's full of joy. And you can really start living the life you dream, but you have to come through it first. Now, so here's what we've learned so far is a part of what the COVID-19 situation has brought us back to some very important basics. And if you caught my blog, I go into this in a little more detail in my blog. But first of all, we had to be brought back to basics because life has gotten so hectic and we've gotten so distracted that it was time to get back to some basic responsibilities. Number one was hand washing. Now, I'm fortunate. I grew up under a nurse. My mother's a nurse. One of my sisters is a nurse. So I grew up with proper hand washing. And being a nurse myself, I've always been a little neurotic about hand washing anyhow, right? But number one, there's a reason we're going back to basic cleansing. So we need to thoroughly clean our hands, as you all are well aware of. We need to clean our food well before we eat it. We need to clean our homes well. And this does things on a larger level, more than we might see. And we're also learning about our energy fields and how important it is that we have energetic anatomy and how important it is to keep our energy fields clean and clear. We're going to go into more of this a bit later. Another back to the basic. Be very discerning where we get our information. Be very discerning with our facts and be very discerning on how much information we get because we can sure get indigestion when we get overloaded. We're also back to the basics of paying attention to our nutrition. And we're learning to conserve, we're learning to eat more healthy, and we're starting to learn the true importance of pure nutrition, whole foods, organics, non-GMO, non-gluten, all of those things that we know. We're really being forced to understand how important that is and how that is for our immune system and our overall health and well-being and our spirituality. Another back to the basics is we're now back to the basics in our home and we've got to face and deal with our stuff, okay? No more putting it off. No more, putting the trash on the curb. It's here. We've got to deal with it and get it taken out. And one of the wonderful things about this is that we're now focused on healing and everyone on the planet is now focused on healing for the first time ever. So I'd like to offer you a different perspective. One thing that is true about every crisis is a major opportunity for healing. And I'm going to just speak to you a bit from my position as a healer. And I'd like to also bring a bit of spirituality into this because again, I'm going to bring science and spirituality together because we're in a holistic healing revolution here, right? So I don't know if you caught my interview on Yoga Digest that just posted, but we talked a lot about the COVID-19 from the healing perspective and the incredible opportunity that this pandemic has brought us for healing. So what are some things? Isolation and quarantine is key. Now, regardless of any type of crisis that you're dealing with, oftentimes one of the most important things that you can do is to isolate yourself a bit, meaning not to build up walls against other people, but truly create a sacred space for yourself where you are safe and protected, where you can go deep on the inside to begin to do your work in a safe, quiet, undistracted environment where other people aren't so able to influence you with their stuff. you need time to heal our own, right? We need time to heal our own first. And in isolation or quarantine, that number one forces us to face ourselves and our stuff. It's going to come up. We're going to have to look at it. And it gives us the incredible opportunity to go within and connect to the divine, to connect to God, to source, whatever term that you know it by. But how important it is to connect, each of us, to really bring our divinity forth, that part of our higher self, that part of us that is divine, that part of us that is soul, and connect with the divine directly. So important. And it's a major opportunity for healing once we do this. But also to remember that we are multidimensional beings. We are more than our physical body. We have energetic anatomy. You've heard me talk about this. And we are spiritual beings. And as multidimensional beings, we need a multidimensional healing approach. So this is a fantastic time because now alternative medicine and energy healing modalities of all types are now being brought out and made available. We're at home and we now have the ability to access these alternative healing modalities that we may not have known before because we were too busy out in life. But now we're like, wow, I can really look into some of these things. Chinese medicine, acupuncture, Reiki, healing touch, dimestone and gem therapy, just to name a few. We'll get into that here in a bit. So we're all on a healing journey together. So let's talk about what to expect. Number one, everything we've ever been told about healing is old and outdated. So let's just let it go, okay? Number one, if we're truly healing, I've been through this and so have my clients, okay? So pot calling the kettle black here. It is a lumpy, bumpy road. Sometimes nobody said healing is going to be easy, but if we're truly doing our work and we are truly healing, it will be lumpy, it will be bumpy. There is no silver bullet. There is no magic pill to make this all go away. We have to do the work. And we're going to learn that in a very deep way, that the symptoms that are presenting themselves, whether it's physical pain, a physical illness, an injury, or a life issue, that these are messages, and we must learn to go deeper to look for the energetic causes underneath, because the cause of this may not be what you think it is. And we'll talk a little bit about that. And briefly, from the energy medicine perspective, it is different than the Western medicine approach. Now, as you know, I was classically trained in Western medicine as I am a registered nurse. And I worked for a number of years in the ER and cardiovascular intensive care, and also in HIV research. I was heavily involved in multiple phase 2 through 4 clinical trials for the FDA trials for various HIV drugs. And I did an adherence study. I published in HIV research. So I have a tremendous respect for Western medicine. But I also kind of have the best of both worlds, because as a licensed clinician, a registered nurse, and a board certified holistic nurse, I also have certifications in energy medicine as well. So I kind of have the best of both worlds, and I'll help to bring that together for you. So number one, if you're having a mild case of burnout or anxiety or whatever term you want to call it, of what's going on, how COVID-19 is affecting your hot mess of a life right now, if you have mild symptoms, you may need your healing journey may be mild and shorter and a little smoother. But if you have really complex symptoms going on in your life, if things are truly drastically in upheaval, that's a sign that we have more complex and more layers to the causes underneath. So just manage your expectations right up front. We need complex, more comprehensive sessions over more time, because energy medicine, as with any healing modality, is cumulative over time. And we'll get to know about that. But I want to take a step back here. And I'd like to just say to you that I tell all of my clients this. Rule number one, it's not your fault. Yes, we are responsible for what we've brought into our own lives today. This is true. But there really is no one to blame, and that includes you blaming yourself. So no, you shouldn't have seen this coming. No, you shouldn't have already known. And no, there shouldn't have been something you could have done to avoid all of this. So let's just give yourself permission to just set that down. Set down the blame. We're going to walk away from it. And I'm going to help you walk away from blame and shame of thinking you've completely screwed up your life, that your life is a hot mess and there's no way out. Number one, all of us have or are going through this already. And it's not your fault. It's not your fault. We can be responsible for what we've brought into our lives, but that means, by definition, we have the ability to respond. Responsibility, the ability to respond. This is not the same thing as blaming. It's not the same thing as having guilt or shame over what's taken place in our life and how we're changing. So, number one, it's not your fault. You can give yourself permission to give yourself a big break. We are all in this together. We've all agreed in our soul contracts to be here at this time. And we've all agreed this is an incredible opportunity to unfold spiritually. And like I say for myself, that I'm here to heal my way home to God. And I'm here to help you do it too. I'm here to help facilitate your healing journey and help you get through this time period, okay? All right, let's talk about a couple of other things. This has never happened before. There's never been a time where the entire planet raised her consciousness and all of the human beings' souls that are on the planet at once. This requires new tools. And I've been going through these tools on my radio show the last 15 months, and it's also covered in my book. But here's what I would like to share with you. I'm here to share with you. It is my mission to help you kind of get your life back by healing your thoughts, memories, and emotions. But what we're really doing is helping you live the life you dream by healing your life to a new life, the life that you dream. So to do that, some of the old tools that you used won't work anymore, and you're going to use new tools to get you to the next level. Now, we'll talk a bit about this. And if you want to study this a little more at home on your own, if you don't have the book, pick up a copy. And I want to make sure that as a clinician and as a practitioner, that I make myself available to you, not only for helping explain some of these new tools, but to provide spiritual care to anyone who would like to have it. That is a part of my role. I have an ethical duty to do so. But more importantly, it's an honor and a privilege to serve you on your healing journey in that aspect as well. So I want to make myself available to you. And here's what I'll be doing is every Friday from 12 noon to 12:30 Central Standard Time, I'll be on Facebook Live where we can interact live. I want to answer your questions, see what questions you have. We'll have a book discussion. We'll discuss the book. I can answer any questions you have. I can answer questions on the illustrations. I can answer questions on some of the tools, some of the guided visualizations that are in the background, that are in each chapter. All of the tools that are in here, we can discuss. I'm here to answer any of your questions and maybe help you take that next step forward. And I'm also here to answer any questions that you may have about diamond and gemstone therapy, if you're wondering if it's for you. So I'll be live, Facebook Live at Burn Bright Today. Go to Facebook, Burn Bright Today, every Friday, 12 noon Central Standard Time. Be on for 30 minutes longer if we need to, but I'm here for you. All right, so let's talk a little bit about gemstone and diamond therapy, and some of the basics of what you might be needing first off. So I alluded to it a little bit earlier, that yes, we've learned that we have to wash our hands, clean our food first, clean our homes at a whole new level. But we also need to understand and take responsibility, be able to respond to clean and clear our energetic anatomy. We have an energetic anatomy, and we have a responsibility to keep it clean and clear. It's our space, it's our aura, for example. So one of the things that we need to learn how to do is to clean and clear our aura as well. The energy that we pick up from others that doesn't belong to us, or that belongs to us and we need to clear and remove it. So to do that, how do you do that? Now, we're all stay at home, and boy, am I glad, because this is, energy medicine practitioners rejoice everywhere. Score one for energy medicine practitioners everywhere, because what we've known and been practicing for eons, now Western medicine is catching up. And that means that, as you know, a few weeks ago, and you saw my blog on telemedicine, that our president has lifted restrictions on telemedicine. So you can now, as you know, see your physician remotely by video or the like. It's also called telehealth. In energy medicine, we call it remote or distance healing. So many of the energy medicine modalities can very effectively be given and received through remote or distance healing by telemedicine. Reiki is one of them, and diamond and gemstone therapy is another. So it's really important that, number one, you start building your healing team and build a diverse healing team for yourself by finding practitioners that you truly resonate with. Find somebody that you resonate with and that builds trust with you over time. And to remember that anytime even if you're healing from home, it is cumulative. And what it really takes is an open heart and an open mind and a commitment to yourself to provide the gift of healing energy to yourself. And one thing is to remember, I talk about this extensively, is that regardless of which therapy it is that you need at this point in time, because there will be a time that you may need acupuncture or chiropractic, and there may be a time that you need Reiki, and then there may be a time, such as I did and my clients do, is they needed the advanced cutting edge technology of diamond and gemstone therapy. It's very next level, very cutting edge, been around a long time, very powerful stuff. But one thing I'd like to just remind you is that regardless of what the healing modality is, how that healing frequency comes through, it is always divine love that does the healing. It's not the practitioner. It's not the person, if you will. The practitioner puts themselves in a state of higher consciousness to serve as a vehicle and as a facilitator, but it is always divine love from God, from the divine, from source, that actually does the healing. And it's up to each of us to make this available to ourselves, to gain the understanding, to gain those healing frequencies so that we can heal ourselves. And as I say, heal our way home to God. So I've done it, my clients have done it, and it's available for you too if it feels right and it resonates. Okay, so what's the first step? Is asking for help. And just remember that if you're to the point where maybe you're still feeling some embarrassment or shame or guilt, that's okay. Let it go. It'll fade with time. But one thing that's really important to remember is that when you ask for help, you're already starting to heal yourself. You're reaching out for a resource that you need access to help yourself. And it's very, very empowering. So this is, again, an incredible opportunity for the entire planet. Many, many, many healers of all types all the light workers, physicians, MDs, PhDs, naturopaths, any alternative medicine practice, Reiki, you name it, healing touch, somatic, Qigong. All of these healers are stepping up and are gladly, from a place of loving service, making their energy medicine practices available to anybody who wants it. So reach out and find a practitioner that resonates and works well with you and that you trust. Now, one of the things that I would like to offer as a service in response to COVID-19 is to open up my practice to much more remote work, of course, because all my work is remote right now because we can't see each other. People can't come into the studio because we're all working remotely. But I would like to provide as a gift to you, to anyone who is new to diamond and gemstone therapy, I would like to offer to you a gift. On every Friday from 2 to 3 Central Standard Time, I am providing a free group remote or telemedicine diamond and gemstone introductory basic session for anyone who would like to try it out. If it resonates with you and you're curious and you want to try diamond and gemstone therapy to see if it's right for you, I warmly invite you to accept this gift. So click the link, go to the offer, burnbrighttoday.com, and register. That will give you the link and some further instructions and what to expect. And then please sign in early because we'll start promptly at 2 o'clock Central Standard Time. That is my gift to you. And if you wish to receive it, it's yours. Now, having said all that, I would like to leave you with something that I would hope would help open your heart a bit. And, you know, if you're still feeling like a hot mess, you can always sing the hue. And I'd like to share this with you if it's new to you. You've probably heard me demonstrate this many times over the last year, but if it's new, here it is. And this is in my book as well. Hue, the word hue is a sacred word. It is a love song to God. And it is the highest of all sounds. It is all sounds. And when we sing it, it helps raise our vibration and open our hearts so that we can experience peace, calm, regardless of what's going on around us. This can be done silently to yourself, aloud, out loud, or by yourself, or with someone, with family or friends. You're welcome to experience it any way that you choose. But I'll demonstrate it for you now. I'll teach you how to sing it 3 times. And then you can click the links to hearhue.org. I'll also show you the free app if you want to download it on your phone. And I'll also click the link, and you can welcome to visit it on YouTube. That's one of my favorite videos ever of the hue. And it's beautiful, and it has a rolling set of quotations that they're beautiful. And I find that they really just help me stay calm and experience joy. And if I start getting a little nervous or anxious, it just helps me recenter myself. So here's how you do it. Silently to yourself at any point in time. It's ideally, if you can carve out 20 minutes, that's ideal. Find a place that's nice and quiet. You can do this with your eyes closed or your eyes open. Lightly put your attention on your spiritual eye and just kind of focus on love if you're able. And if you're not, don't stress. Just start somewhere. Take a nice, slow, deep breath in. And on the outgoing breath, you'll sing the word. And I'll demonstrate it for you 3 times. Hue. May the blessings be. And you're welcome to try that anytime, silently or aloud, or with your family and friends. I'll include the link, but I'll also show you how you can download this onto your phone. This is the app. Looks like this. It plays for 20 minutes. And it also has a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful video that goes with it. So until next week, I just want to encourage you. You're doing great. You're doing better than you think. Reach out for help. Reach out and explore any of the resources that resonate with you at this time. Build your healing team, your physicians, a therapist, a chiropractor, acupuncture, Reiki, diamond and gemstone therapy, neurolinguistics programming. Explore and find practitioners that you trust, that you feel comfortable with, and can build an even deeper rapport over time. Explore what works for you at this time. Try it out. And in the end, I'm sure that you'll find, just like I have, and as my clients have, that on the other side of a crisis, of grief, and any of those lower emotions, shame, fear, guilt, pain, once you come through that and heal through it on the other side, there is a lightness, a happiness, and a joy that's all your own. And you'll be living a life you dream that was far better than life was before the crisis happened. So until next week, take care and burn bright, my friends.